I was completely taken aback when my husband abruptly stated that unless the ownership of our house was transferred to his name, he would consider a divorce. The words hit me like a thunderbolt. This house was more than bricks and walls, it was a treasure chest of precious family memories. Every corner held echoes of my childhood. Every room carried stories of my late father's love and hard work. The very thought of losing it felt unbearable, as if he was trying to strip away not just a house but a part of my very soul. Despite my deep emotional attachment, Terry's cold demand made it clear that he wasn't thinking about us, he was manipulating my sentiments. My heart raced, torn between disbelief and fear. Was my marriage, everything I had sacrificed for, now hanging by a condition that felt more like blackmail than compromise? In my distress, I turned to my father for support. My name is Patricia, and I'm a 32-year-old full-time housewife. I had devoted myself entirely to building a stable, warm home after marrying Terry 3 years ago. I left behind a promising career, not because I lacked ambition, but because I believed in our partnership. Terry worked long hours, and I wanted to be the anchor that kept our household steady. But life took an unexpected turn after Terry's father passed away. His death left a shadow on our marriage, and soon after, Terry informed me that his mother, Kayla, would be moving in with us. The announcement came just a day before her arrival. No discussion, no chance for me to prepare emotionally. I tried to be understanding, but I could already sense my role in my own home shrinking. And then, as if that wasn't enough, Terry casually mentioned the following evening that Kayla wasn't just visiting, she was staying indefinitely. He said it so nonchalantly, as though it were a trivial matter, while I stood frozen, realizing my life was about to change drastically without my consent. When Kayla arrived, her very presence filled the house with disapproval. She looked around as though she had already judged every corner. "Why didn't you pick me up from the station?" she snapped, her voice sharp. I stammered, explaining that I hadn't known her exact arrival time, but she waved off my explanation with a huff. "You should have called to check. Honestly, Patricia, you're so thoughtless. This is why people say some in-laws are useless and inconsiderate." Her words pierced me. Instead of being welcomed as a guest, she settled into our home as if it were her rightful domain. From that day forward, her remarks became sharper, more relentless. Each morning, the moment Terry left for work, she began her barrage. "Patricia, why are you sitting there? Do the dishes. The laundry should already be finished, it's common sense." I would swallow my pride and answer, "I'll do the laundry once the dishes are done." But she would cut me down again. Wrong priorities. In my house, the laundry was always done right after breakfast. Didn't your parents teach you better? It didn't matter what I did or how I arranged my day. Kayla would always find a reason to criticize. I had a routine long before she arrived, yet she dismissed it completely, determined to impose her own rules. Every hour alone with her was suffocating. It was during one of those long, silent afternoons, as her criticism still rang in my ears, that I remembered my father's gift. A house. My house. The one he had given me after retiring to the countryside with my mother. That house wasn't far from where we lived now, and Terry and I had once talked about moving there someday. But now, with Kayla's presence gnawing at me, someday felt too far away. That evening, with my nerves trembling, I approached Terry. "Can we talk for a moment?" He looked up from his phone. "What's up? Did something happen?" I hesitated before speaking. "Do you remember the house my father gave us? What do you think about moving there, soon?" His brow furrowed. "That house? We did talk about moving there eventually. Why the sudden decision?" I steadied myself. "Because I can't go on like this. Your mother may not have mentioned anything, but I can't bear living with her anymore. It's too much. If we move, she can stay here in the apartment. It's close enough for us to visit often, but I need some peace in my own home." To my surprise, Terry didn't argue. He nodded, perhaps even relieved. Within a week, we had arranged the move. Kayla, to my shock, accepted the decision with an almost unsettling smile. "Goodbye, Terry and Patricia. I'm sorry for the sudden decision to move, but don't worry, I'll be fine here. It's generous of your father to have given you that house. Come visit us soon," I told her, though my words were laced with hesitation. Her voice softened, almost sweet. "Of course, I'd love to visit regularly. Don't forget me." A chill ran through me at her sudden warmth. But I forced a smile. Once we were settled into the new house, relief washed over me like cool water after years in the desert. For the first time in months, I could breathe without fear of criticism, eat a meal without side comments, follow my own routines without interference. But my peace didn't last. Terry began coming home later and later. At first, it was an extra hour here and there, but soon, there were entire nights when he didn't return at all. Each time, he brushed it off with the same excuse: I was worried about my mother. His absences grew too frequent to ignore. The warmth I once felt in our marriage was being replaced with suspicion, confusion, and hurt. One evening, I finally confronted him. Terry, you've been coming home really late these days, and sometimes not at all. He shrugged. Is that so? I told you, I'm just worried about my mother. That's not the issue, I said firmly, my voice rising. At the very least, you could inform me beforehand, so I don't wait up or prepare dinner for nothing. Since you're always at home, Patricia, you can just eat the leftovers the next day, right? He replied carelessly. My chest tightened. So I'm supposed to just accept everything in silence because I'm a housewife? Is that what you're saying? He smirked slightly, as if mocking me. Isn't it true? Housewives have it easy at home anyway. His words struck me like a slap. What are you even saying, Terry? I asked, my voice trembling with hurt. And then, he added something that sent a new wave of unease crashing over me. Besides, Amy will be coming back soon, and I need to discuss some things with her. I froze. Amy? Wait, Amy is coming back? What do you need to discuss with her? Curiosity mixed with dread in my stomach. Something about the way he said it made me feel that the storm in my marriage was only just beginning.
Information: we're moving Amy in here to live with us. She's always wanted a big house like the one she had abroad. That's why I thought it would be a good idea to let her stay in this house, Terry said casually, as if he were talking about lending out an old coat instead of handing away my most treasured inheritance. I blinked in shock, my chest tightening as his words sank in. What? I exclaimed, unable to hide my disbelief. Is my sister-in-law going to live in our house? My voice quivered. I had just begun to breathe freely after moving away from Kayla's constant criticisms. And now, out of nowhere, Terry was proposing yet another upheaval, bringing his sister Amy into my home, the home my father entrusted to me. I stood frozen, unable to process the absurdity of it. This wasn't just a building, it was a legacy, a gift from my father's hard work, and every inch of it felt sacred, and yet Terry spoke as if my connection to it meant nothing at all. It's the only sizable house that would satisfy Amy, Terry reasoned, his tone completely detached. The apartment where my mother stays now is too cramped for 4 people, but don't worry, I never planned for us to live with Amy. I intend to give this house to her. My mouth went dry. What? Why would you do that? Because we'll move back in with my mother. Amy can use this house freely. His face was calm, almost smug, as if the decision had already been carved into stone. His words hit me like a punch. Move back in with Kayla, after all the torment I had endured under her roof, and worse, just give away the home I inherited? My head spun, and I felt as though the ground beneath me had cracked open. No, I managed to say, though my voice trembled. This house is precious to me. I inherited it from my father. It's not yours to give. Terry's patience snapped. His eyes hardened, and he spat out, "Can't you be a little more considerate? You live because of my support, so just do as I say. This house is wasted on you." I gasped, pressing my hands against the table to steady myself. Wasted? On me? How dare you say that? I've kept this house alive with my care. It's not just walls and furniture. He folded his arms stubbornly. I've already told Amy she'd get a large house. It's too late to say otherwise now. You decided all this without consulting me, without even asking? I demanded, fighting to keep my composure though my throat was burning. Enough, he shouted, snatching his keys. Calm down and think about it. I'll go back to my mother's for a while. He slammed the door so hard the walls shook, leaving me trembling in silence. Tears spilled down my cheeks as I sank into the chair. I could not believe the man I married, the one I once trusted, would so easily disregard my voice and my feelings, to hand over my father's house to his sister like some discarded gift. It was unthinkable. Days passed, and Terry continued to bombard me with messages. Have you calmed down? Think about Amy. You need to come back soon. Don't make things worse. But each time, I replied firmly, no. I will not agree to this. Then one evening, he called. His voice was sharp, dripping with frustration. Patricia, when will you come here and live with me? Stop dragging this out. I clenched my fists. I've told you so many times, I will not live with Kayla again, and I will not give this house to Amy. Stop being selfish, he barked. My father entrusted this house to me. It's mine, not yours to hand away, I cried, my voice shaking with both anger and grief. His response made my blood run cold. If you can't listen to me, then let's get a divorce. Hand the house over to Amy and leave by tomorrow. My heart stopped for a moment. Divorce? Was he really choosing his sister and mother over me? The marriage we built meant that little to him? He didn't stop. His voice grew more venomous. If you don't leave by tomorrow, I'll divorce you. What will you do if you, a housewife, get divorced? You can't survive. I gripped the phone tightly, my tears drying as anger replaced despair. Enough, I get it, I said coldly. Hurry up and move. My mother is looking forward to disciplining you. He sneered before hanging up, fully confident I would bend to his will. But he underestimated me. That night, I called my father. He listened quietly, then said firmly, "Come home, we'll figure this out together." By the next day, my belongings were packed, and I had already moved to my parents' countryside home. When Terry asked about Amy's return, I answered calmly, "By the way, when will Amy be back?" "She'll be back tomorrow." "Why are you so obsessed with her?" he asked suspiciously. "Between you and me," I said lightly, "she seems to have made quite a sum from stock investments." "I see, so if you provide her with a house, maybe she'll help us financially," he mused, still clinging to his scheme. "That's so like you," I muttered bitterly. "Anyway, you need to leave that house by today. It's inconvenient for all of us," he pressed. "Don't worry, I've already moved," I replied coolly. "What do you mean?" he asked, suddenly unsure. "I'm at my parents' house. I don't plan on coming back," I explained, my voice steady. "You should have told me sooner," he snapped. I didn't flinch. "If you really want Amy to have the house, then here's the deal. It's on the market for $520,000. Buy it and give it to her yourself." "What? Are you joking?" "I'm dead serious," I said. The house was still in my father's name. I asked him to sell it. He sputtered, his composure cracking. "Why would you do that without asking me? This is unforgivable. I don't need your permission anymore. We're getting divorced soon. I won't be controlled by you or your family." He tried one last attempt to crush me. "You'll be in trouble if we divorce. You're just a housewife. You won't survive." I straightened my back, my voice firm. "I'd rather struggle alone than live in chains with you. Did you really think threats would make me surrender? You were wrong." For the first time, I heard fear in his silence. The following weeks were a blur of legal meetings, paperwork, and emotional battles, but I stood my ground. The divorce was finalized, the court recognizing his faults. Kayla remained in that cramped apartment, dependent on her son. Amy, furious that the grand house she was promised never materialized, fled overseas once more. Terry, left with alimony payments and the weight of his mother, struggled financially and emotionally. As for me, I found peace, in the countryside, surrounded by my parents' warmth and the quiet hum of rural life. I started anew. A neighbor helped me secure a clerical job at a local company, and for the first time in years, I felt the glow of independence. The house may have been sold, but I realized something far more valuable: my dignity, my freedom, and my future could not be taken from me.